The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Is everyone singing the song that goes along with our title today? So you down with UGC? Yeah, you know me. I know you all wanted to hear me sing this morning, so I will give you that pleasure. We're so excited to be talking about user-generated content today. And you know, the topic is fantastic, but the best thing about our Power Panels series is really about the industry experts that we have joining us to share their best practices. And today is absolutely fantastic. I cannot even believe how wonderful our panelists are today and all of the wonderful information that they're going to share with you. So we have Mary Williams from Freeman Webb, who's going to share all kinds of incredible information about specifically social media content, user-generated social media stuff, and Dana Hill as well, a lot of really great stuff from Rangewater that will share about reviews and other types of user-generated content as well. So we're going to cover the entire spectrum today. So thank you to both of my panelists for being here. My name is Melissa DeSico, and I'm with Satisfax and Apartment Ratings, as you know, and we are just so excited to start and dive in today. All right, so for those of you that have been to our Power Panel series before, you know that we will be here about 60 minutes today. And if you are here, or if you have colleagues that registered but they weren't able to join us, you will get a follow-up email after the webinar. It may be tomorrow or later this evening, and you'll get the recording and the slides that we are showing today as well. And I believe we're also going to have a follow-up blog post for this session because we have a ton of great videos and things like that that I'm sure you'll want to watch again. So we'll have that blog post with that content available to you as well following the webinar. We do want this to be interactive, so please find the question in the questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. That's where at any time today you can ask any questions for our panelists. They have incredible things to share, so I'm sure you'll have questions to ask them. So I'll try to keep track of those questions as we go today, but if I don't get to your question, I'll make sure to get to it at the end of the session today. So please do use that questions box. Next, you know, we love surveys. So at the end of the session today, you'll get an exit survey, and we'd love to hear your feedback. We always want to make sure that these are useful for you and giving you information that's helpful. So please take that exit survey. If you rate us and comment, your comment might show up on social media. So please share as much as you can about what you liked or didn't like about the webinar today. As a reminder, these happen the third Thursday of every month. So we will have we have a Power Panel session every month for you on a different topic that's related to our industry. And the good news is today we have a contest. So if you list, so after the webinar today, we're going to have a social post that shows the rating of the webinar, so what you gave us in the exit survey, and then it'll have a comment from one of our attendees. If you like that post and also comment with your favorite user-generated content tip from today on social, you can win that gift card. So it can be a tip that you hear from one of our experts, or if you just have something that you've done that's really cool that you want to share, you can absolutely share that tip as well on that social post. We'd love to hear from everyone and what you really learned today about user-generated content. All right, so as you know, with all of our webinars, you can access them at any time. And if you're a Satisfax client, these are available in Exchange, really easy to access in the Education tab. But if not, you can also always access them at satisfax.com. And all you have to do is go into the Education Resources section, and you can find all of this content there too. So you can see we've done all kinds of fun webinars on renewals and outreach marketing, wellness, all of those things. So we'd love for you to always access those whenever you need a little bit of best practices from your friends in the industry. So we're going to get started on the user-generated content topic, and this is so popular lately. We've heard a lot about what's the newest thing in marketing. And if you attended our outreach marketing session a couple months ago, you know, it's so interesting. When we were in marketing years, I don't know how many of you have been in this industry for a long time, but it was so different even when I joined. And, you know, it was those things where Outreach marketing was, physically going places and dropping off donuts or, things like that, and giving flyers for them to put in their lobbies and stuff like that. And it has evolved so much. Even in that webinar, we learned that really outreach marketing is social. It's social outreach now. It's not just that traditional sort of in-person type of outreach. Social media is really taking over for that, and it's making it so much more impactful for our teams and for our marketing efforts. So this is just a funny little cartoon that I found that shows kind of the evolution of marketing and how it's going. It's like it started with that sort of used car salesman type of feel, and it's moved along to now it's the people that we are giving this experience to every single day that are sharing with other people who are in the sort of buying journey. They're getting their information from other people that we have impacted along the way. And so that gives us such incredible opportunity to really showcase the experience at our communities and why people should decide to live with us. So just kind of a funny little marketing cartoon. But for those of you that haven't heard of the term UGC, user-generated content, really user-generated content is anything that, it's any kind of content that is created by people rather than brands, right? And UGC really does have the potential to change your marketing game and beyond. And that's why we want to hear from these experts to help us understand how can we best utilize this new power, this new tool that we have to really impact the marketing and the branding at our communities. So we've done a ton of research on this topic, and people really do trust content created by other people far more than content created by brands. 93%, that's a huge number, and that's changed. People are actually trusting content by those verified residents and things like that more than like a coworker or a family or friend, because they know that that person experienced it and they're going to tell you what really happened. So it's kind of interesting that change of events and how people are really trusting those reviews even more. So some things about user-generated content. My panelists today are going to talk way more about this. So this is just a little bit about what you get. What is your return when you're really focusing on that user-generated content? So it's really putting your customer front and center, right? They don't trust us as marketers, but they trust real people. And that's why, a lot of times this content, we're always worried about it being polished or looking professional. And while it still needs to look at least professional enough, people believe those homemade things even more. They want it to be real and authentic, and this helps create community. So if you're a Satisfax client or you've heard us speak at any time, you know that creating that sense of community is so important. And you guys, this is a really good way to highlight and celebrate your residents, right? This is the best way to put them front and center, make them the celebrity at your community, make them that micro influencer. That helps to create that sense of community. So we did some research with our biennial online mentor study, and we found that now 81% of people are looking at communities' online reviews before even reaching out to the community. So what happens in that buyer's journey? They're looking for apartments more broadly, and then once they start to really narrow down their list, that's when they go to reviews to decide, is this worth pursuing? So this is a really critical point in that buyer's journey, right? This is when they're narrowing it down. Who am I going to actually reach out to? Who am I going to tour with, either virtually or in person? That's what those reviews are making. They're that deciding factor. So they're so critical, and that's a really critical point in that journey. So 81% are doing that, and we want to make sure that our authentic selves are out there, that we're really telling a great story about what it's really like to live in our communities. And one of the best at this in general in our industry is Rangewater Real Estate. And Dana Hill is here. We are so excited to have you, Dana. And she is going to tell us how Rangewater is really using user-generated content and what they've been seeing. How is it benefiting them in general too? So Dana's here. She's going to tell us all her best practices. So welcome, Dana. The floor is all yours.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. I'm so excited to be here and be part of this conversation. One of the things that I recognize, and you touched on, you did a great job in terms of breaking this down for us and having a better understanding of the evolution of how we connect with our residents and prospects. You know, back in the day, we were able to control that narrative. I came from working with the directories, and we put the best picture, we did the description, and we could push out what we wanted the narrative to be, right, as marketers. And today, that is not what the consumer is looking for. They are looking for just what Melissa said, the authentic voice, and they trust that voice of those that have truly had a real experience with your product. I'm fortunate enough to partner with our incredible marketing team. So we have our reviews and surveys split. That comes under my purview. And then the marketing comes under the purview of the other Dana Pate, who is our managing director of marketing. And we combine those efforts to really make sure that we are having great influence on putting out an authentic message that is going to then empower our prospects and residents to really become our brand ambassadors and partners to really help magnify and escalate that messaging that we want to send out. At the end of the day, we say that, you know, user reviews are an essential part of the consumer's buying journey. As consumers see it is an authentic source, they will then celebrate it. And by celebrating it, they attract new prospects and continued residents to partner with us at our communities. So in the purest form, user reviews are the written or visual form of authentic experiences, but we want that to come from our real customers with a brand, with our brand that they have shared publicly. We can move to the next slide, Melissa. So this is an example for us at Rangewater that we recently shared. We do a Monday huddle with our entire corporate office and our regionals that are across the markets. And this was one that we shared Monday, where this father actually did a post about his daughter's experience at the Artesia at LOSO and how she has really made Artesia her home and even found a dog that she could adopt to help her to really feel connected and to get comfortable with having left home. And so she created this nice video, and then her dad wrote this post to support that. Just by these guys doing this on a social platform, it was on IG, we had over 1,000 views of this post, over 1,000. As a result, the dad said, I have to leave a review. Like, this clearly resonated with prospects and residents throughout. And for that, he elevated this messaging to a review, which really, of course, helped us to improve our star rating overall and impact not just for Artesia, but for Rangewater's presence on Google and our position there and our overall star rating. So this is a prime example of the resident creating authentic content about their experience and tying that back to one of our sites that we manage here at Rangewater, and that messaging elevating to the point that over 1,000 people viewed this. Whether it was, you know, guys, when you put any kind of pet, any kind of furry family member on a video, it's going to resonate. It's going to resonate more than it did with me, because I'm just a mom of twins. I don't have any furry family members, but it really resonates with consumers. And that is what really began to create something that we could spiral off of and that we could build off of, continuing to create authentic posting and engaging on various social networks. This particular one was IG. Now, here's another example of what Melissa was sharing about involving our residents. So we do something here at Rangewater called Moving Moments. And we really build this off of residents and our site teams sharing about exceptional moments that they've had with a resident. We believe in a 5-star hospitality program here at Rangewater. And so our site teams have been trained to surprise and delight, to go above the norm in order to make the residents feel like they are having a fulfilling experience living at a Rangewater community. So in this example, this resident was moving from, I believe she was out of the country. I think she was in Japan, I believe, and relocating to the United States. And our marketing rep, who's our leasing consultant, worked with the prospect throughout the entire process of her signing the lease and moving across the globe to come live at a Rangewater property. And she understood that the resident was a little concerned about leaving her pets behind, but she did not want to travel that long with them. So our marketing rep helped her with getting her pet involved and settled into the property. She reached out and made sure that she had all kinds of pet goodies and gifts for the pet, for the little kitty here. And they then built a relationship that went beyond just the property. And as a result, they became furry friends. And if you see to the right, you'll see them sharing their fuzzy socks that looks like paw prints from a kitty. And this really spoke to so many people of just how much we really take care of you even before you are an actual resident at Rangewater. And it really helped to push forward our messaging about our culture and our commitment to make sure that we are creating fulfilling experiences for all of our residents. This passed into, in terms of being able to provide authentic content, Melissa, we went on to share information about our philanthropic activities that we do here at Rangewater to really make sure that we are making it clear that we are not a company that is just about self and ROI and net profits, but we are a company that believes in being a good neighbor to our neighbors. And so we created this video content about our teams volunteering to be a good neighbor and making the community that we have sites in, making that community better, not just for us and not just for our residents, but for the neighbors that live around us. And so you'll see in the next slide where we actually showed some images of us helping out on doing a cleanup trail back in Charlotte. And we posted this information, and it's part of our Impact a Billion idea, where we can really have a greater impact than raising dollars and funds, but by really just being a good neighbor and doing something special for somebody else and for the community around us. In this particular case, we picked up around 55 pounds of debris and cleared the area. So when that was posted out on various social networks for us, we got a lot of feedback off of this from prospects who really found this to be incredible, as well as residents who reached out and said how much they love being a part of a Rangewater community. So they became our true brand ambassadors. And that's really what is important today. When we talk about reviews, it's imperative, of course, that we sit anywhere between a 4.2 to a 4.5. That's our goal here at Rangewater. And that's what I am responsible for managing and monitoring on behalf of us. The reason that we don't push for all 5-star reviews and to be at a 5-star across the board is over time, especially in 2020, when we were consuming so much news just to keep up with COVID, we also saw a lot of reports around fake reviews, and those being typically your 5-star reviews of typically being fake. And so it caused our consumers to lose confidence around anything that seems to say it's perfect, because we live here in the real world every day, and we know that there's no perfection anywhere. And so for you to really have an authentic voice with the consumers out there, it is okay for you to have a negative review. This is really the powerhouse of managing your reviews, is how you respond and manage that negative review so that that resident is impelled and encouraged to come back in and change the review to a higher score rating based on how we handled a negative experience. They are going to happen, but it's how we respond to them and how we handle them. This is what our consumers are really paying attention to. They want to see strong star ratings. That's very critical to their buying decision. But most importantly, they are starting to look at negative reviews and how we respond to those negative reviews. And when you can turn a negative review to a positive review with a positive experience coming from the resident, you just built your own brand ambassador. You built an authentic brand ambassador that's going to go out and sing your praises and preach that narrative that is going to encourage other residents to see you as a trusted brand and a brand that is going to serve their needs. So at the end of the day, let's talk about some key takeaways in regards to what Melissa has already shared and the things that I've shared with you. All of the things that we are recommending about how you can really take advantage of UGC is about boosting engagement. So, at the end of the day, we want to get to a place where we are looking at how we can, number one, know that our reviews are going to build trust for your business. So we just talked about that in a big way, starting with the most direct benefit. User reviews are going to help build brand trust and social proof as they show realistic information about the brand and its products to the consumers. So that's number one. Number two, we want to talk about how we showcase authenticity and credibility to the audience. Authenticity and credibility are equally important for the consumers, for their trust, in order for us to be building trust. We are saying that repeatedly because that's what's going to really attract consumers and prospects to your brand. So it's essential to have elements that can help you showcase your brand authenticity and credibility. For me, because this is truly my lane, reviews are a perfect way to achieve this. We're going to have our actual residents talking about their actual experience with Rangewater and with your brand. That's what we want to do. So having positive reviews will significantly help in achieving crucial credibility. But remember what I said, the fact that you do have negative reviews, because that's realistic to our day-to-day, and you are able to turn that negative review and get that resident to come back and turn that into a positive review, is where you are going to really build credibility as well as brand loyalty. So don't forget that important key fact. Organic promotion through word of mouth. Guys, I've been in the industry for 30 years, and we all know word of mouth has been the best way to get any kind of messaging out there. But believe you, today with social platforms, that can convert into your actual word of mouth. Your residents and your prospects have changed that messaging and put that on our social networks. So along with trustworthiness and credibility, to achieve that brand loyalty, it is an organic promotion that you want to put out on the social networks across as many as you can, so that we are using that modern age of word of mouth and have the best possible impact. The next way to really continue to boost our engagement and attract users to our network and to our brand, make sure that the products that we are presenting, our brand, which are apartment communities, that this is something that we are showing in a way that is going to be inviting to our residents and our prospects to share with friends. So not only do you want to have your still images of your community, those the things that shows and highlights the best parts of the community, you also want to think about utilizing the social platforms that are becoming popular today. Instagram had its day, but today TikTok is really becoming the network that a lot of consumers are connecting with. We see that they are engaging on TikTok and spending hours upon hours looking at video. So when you are able to build video content around your sites and your community, and encouraging your residents to share their experiences in terms of video, like the example we showed with the resident who relocated and adopted a dog when she came to Artesia. When you can do things like that, it really will resonate with your prospects and your consumers and put you in a position for you to continue to build on generating reviews, as well as building loyalty and building out your brand. And then another key takeaway would be making sure we highlight the positive customer experiences. So the example that I showed of the resident that relocated from Japan, and how our service director, our leasing manager there actually took on the extra responsibility to surprise and delight this new resident and give that resident an opportunity to get their new pet comfortable and assimilated into his new home with great treats and all kinds of pet toys. And from that, they built this relationship that we were able to make a moving moment out of and share that across our social platforms and networks. These are the kind of authentic messaging. This is the kind of authentic messaging that you want to build a cadence around, and you want to do as frequently as possible. The last point I'll touch on is, we can increase our brand conversion and revenue. At the end of the day, although we talk about, what we want to do to make sure that we're showing that we are an authentic company and that we are not just looking at profits and ROIs, but that we are happy to be a good neighbor. It's imperative to us at Rangewater that we press upon that message about our culture here. We actually are in the business of making money. So doing all of these things that we're sharing with you today really comes down to the bottom line of creating results and building on results. We're going to see occupancies improve because of this, the way that we are taking advantage of UGC now going forward. And we're not only going to see those occupancies improve, but we're building brand loyalty, which we see our residents remaining on site with us much longer. You know, it takes at least 18 months for us to see any type of profitability from a resident moving in. So it's important that we find ways to build that brand loyalty so that resident chooses to stay with us past that 18-month general cycle of them moving. And so when you are taking advantage of video, taking advantage of the content and platforms like TikTok, where our residents and consumers are spending lots of time on, and you are partnering with your residents to help message your brand and be your brand ambassador, that all converts into increased traffic, increased conversions, and higher revenues. Reviews are a form of content that has a direct impact on the conversions of a brand. Conversions increase from the inclusion of our customer reviews. So make sure that you take away from this conversation today the way to elevate your messaging in an authentic way, in a place where we are seeing most of our consumers spending their time, and in a way that really resonates with your brand. Melissa, that's my contribution for today. I'll turn it back over.
Yeah, I just want to highlight too, I think it's so important what you said about Rangewater not requiring those, you know, perfect 5-star reviews or average reviews. I think that that is a big misconception, that everyone thinks that you have to have a perfect rating or everything has to be a 5-star. And I think you're totally right. We need to think about that differently, because it's okay to get a less than favorable review. In fact, it just builds confidence for your consumers. If they see that you handle that really well and you recover beautifully from it, it just increases their confidence level in whether or not they want to live there. So I really do encourage everyone on the call today, don't be afraid. In fact, if you don't have a few reviews that aren't perfect, your customers aren't going to believe that, they're going to think there's something wrong here. They must be doing something, because no one's perfect. So you want to make sure that you do have some reviews out there, as long as they're real. Like, you don't want to like cause problems on purpose, right? But you want to make sure that that stuff is showcased too, because they know things go wrong sometimes. And if it's not out there that anything ever goes wrong, you just don't seem real. So I love that your company is really embracing that and setting a different sort of standard for that. That's fantastic. So, and we all know, with review gating and stuff like that, hiding those less than positive, less than 5-star reviews, that's, the FTC is really cracking down on that stuff, because they want to make sure that consumers have that authentic view. They don't want things to be muddled by the property not showing, reviews that are less than 3.5 or something. So, that's something to be careful about, right?
How we manage those negative reviews is really the sweet spot, everyone. It's where you really are going to build brand loyalty from how you handled it. It's, failing forward is what we're doing. We're going to have those moments, but when we can engage, accept and acknowledge, and then be able to share how we've resolved it in a positive way, and that resident comes back and wants to celebrate that for us, that's where your bread and butter is, because that's where the consumer is going to see exactly how authentic you are about your brand, and if it resonates with them, to want to make this their home.
Yes, so wonderful. And it was funny, we had a comment in the questions box and just said they teared up a little bit with your story about the cat and stuff from Japan. So it's so sweet. And we have those moments all the time on site. And I think that's great. You know, showcase that, because that's how you make people feel. And that's where 50% of customer service comes from, right? How you're making people feel. And social media gives you that opportunity to share that publicly, right? So when we're, yeah, so I did want to share, so Dana is going to be with our very own Leah Nicole Smith and Rick Leith from Legend Management Group at Apartmentalize. So if you're going to be at Apartmentalize this year in June, they're going to do a session a lot like this. So they're going to share even more. It's called Social Crowdsourcing, the Non-Marketing Approach to Apartment Marketing. And their session is June 23rd at 4:15 in room 6DE. So check that out. Make sure you put that on your agenda when you're at Apartmentalize, because this is a must-see session too if this sort of thing really interests you. So as we were just talking about, really showcasing how you make people feel on social media. We have Mary Williams with Freeman Webb with us as well. And she is doing all kinds of really amazing things with social media as well at Freeman Webb. And so, you know, Dana had mentioned a minute ago a little bit about TikTok, and I think it's such, you know, I think it was like the new kid on the block for a while, so we were a little bit afraid of it, but oh my gosh, if you can embrace it, it can be so beneficial for your brand. And frankly, even personally, it's totally addicting. So don't make ads, make those TikTok videos. It says, you know, when you look at the research with TikTok, 70% of TikTok users agree that they feel a deeper connection to the people and the brands they interact with on TikTok than any other platform. So Mary Williams is with us, and she is going to tell you all of the tips and tricks, not only with TikTok, but other social platforms as well. So Mary, I am going to hand it over to you. So welcome.
Thank you so much. So TikTok, or as my husband would say, my favorite addiction. I am one of those that spends hours watching video content. Not proud to say it all the time, but it does help me with my job, so that's a positive. We know TikTok is actually the fastest growing social media platform right now, so it's grown faster than Instagram and Facebook. I think the pandemic actually has a lot to do with that. It's become widely popular, especially during the pandemic, during the time that we were really starving for human connection, but we weren't able to meet face to face. So it is a great platform for connecting with people without having to be in the same place as them. So really people have taken hold of TikTok because it's a platform that allows users to really be themselves. You know, it allows people to be honest and creative and authentic. And I think that's super important, especially with advertising in today. One thing we do have to understand to be successful on TikTok is that the platform is made to serve the users. And the algorithm really favors high energy, entertaining, engaging content, regardless of the creator. So it's an interest-based algorithm. So if you have interacted with content, they're going to show you more content that is similar to the things that you like. So it's a very smart algorithm. It's only going to show you stuff it thinks you're going to like and interact with. So you have to appeal to your audience and the interest of your audience in that. So we have a few examples here. I'm going to let Melissa play these and then we'll talk about them. These are actually TikToks that some of our teams have made on site, some of my favorite ones. So let's take a look at these. So this one was actually created at one of my social media 101 classes. People are very, very hesitant to get on camera. So I applaud all of these women because they are not 100% comfortable with being on camera, but they're so fun. It really shows the personalities of your teams. It puts a face to your community, and it shows just how fun you have, how much you love your job. So it just adds that personal element to your community. So we'll go on to the next one. Okay, I love this one for two reasons. First, it's so relatable, especially from being on the on-site perspective, looking out the blinds, trying to see what everybody's doing. I know we've all done that a few times. I'll admit that I have. I also love it because it shows their personalities and it introduces the whole team, even the maintenance teams. I know maintenance is not the first people you would think of to be on your videos, but they are, people love them. People see them more when they go in to do service requests. It really does add that human element to your entire team. It introduces your entire team. Any of the posts that I did with maintenance team members involved would always get the highest engagement because people just love to see them. They love seeing people step out of their comfort zone. So let's go to the next one. I chose this one specifically. This is one of our communities in Murfreesboro. And I chose this one because the people planting out there in boots, the woman is the community manager and the man is the maintenance supervisor. And I think that's just a testament to our culture at our company. Freeman Webb, we have brand values, and one of them is be passionate and determined. And that truly shows the passion and the care that we put into each and every one of our communities. Customer service wise, also, you know, we just want our communities to look the best. People should really take pride in where they live, and we take pride in what we do. So I thought that that was a great video to show that. And we will go on to the next one, which I think is actually the last one. Okay, every time I see this one, I laugh. I had to watch it. They created this at one of my social media one-on-one classes too. We have breakout sessions where we create a TikTok and then we create a reel. It's just so funny to see what you get from the teams on site because this is also very relatable. It just adds a humor to it. You know, we never like to see anybody go, especially if they don't accept their renewal offer. And I know right now we're having huge rent increases, so it's happening more than ever. So we really have to show the value in it. And I think to piggyback off of what Dana was saying too, it is so important to create relationships with your people, you know, your employees, your residents. Every single person on site plays a role into the resident experience. So really creating relationships so that those people want to create content for you and want to stay as well. So we'll go on to the next slide. So best practices that we saw with the TikTok videos. There we go. So storytelling, I know, you know, we've seen the storytelling aspect be huge with advertising these days. And I know when somebody said that they teared up when they saw that cat story, that is storytelling. We're human and we are emotional beings and we connect with things that make us feel something. So storytelling in your social content, especially your video content, is so important. So be real and accessible, showing real people in all of their silliness and their hardworking, determined, down-to-earth selves, I think is so important. It's just transparent, it's authentic, people really resonate with it. Putting a face to it, so not just being a face behind a desk, really being a person that works with that community that people love to interact with. It's true, it's authentic, it's made to highlight the real life, so really having fun with it, like the ones that we saw earlier. So collaborating, creating relationships with your audience, also interacting with them. So if they interact with your content, if they share your content, if they comment on your content, interacting back with them so that they keep doing that is very important as well. Also with collaborating, teaming up with local businesses is huge. You know, hosting an event for your residents. I think at a few of our communities, we've had food trucks come out. We've had like succulent classes, and we've teamed up with all local businesses to do this. It's a take and give relationship. And if you promote them, they're going to promote you as well. So definitely do that. Going behind the scenes. So what they think we do versus what we actually do. Our audience sometimes has no idea the depth of what we do with our jobs. We wear a lot of hats. a lot of those hats we don't ever want to wear, but we have to, and that's okay. So showing that behind the scene content, it's also great with, you know, people giving you grace. They're like, oh, I had no idea that you did that as part of your job. So it helps in a lot of different aspects. And then staying consistent with posting. Sometimes your TikToks are going to get 12 views and other times they're going to go viral. So understand that not every single video, TikTok or reel that you post is going to go viral, and that is okay. That is completely fine. Also with reels in particular, they have a longer shelf life than TikTok. So reels, I actually had one that I posted, it got, you know, a couple hundred views, and then 3 months later it actually went viral, because the sound actually started trending again. So be patient, build it, and they will come. Checking your analytics is also super important. You need to know which posts on your social platform do the best. The ones that do the best are typically what your audience wants to see more of. So you need to know what your audience wants to see more of so that you can make more of what your audience wants to see. And then leaving your traditional marketing shoes at the door. We've spoken about this. This is so important. People don't want to be hit over the head with promotional content. They don't want to be sold to, really. They want to create those relationships. They want to be authentic. They want people to be transparent. So don't try to over promote. Really work on creating real relationships and add value to your audience. So the best stuff, inspirational, educational, entertaining content is what users really, really want. And then the last thing that I wanted y'all to do, be relatable. I think, you know, you scroll by something and you're like, oh, I do that. People love to like talk about themselves and see things that they do, relatable content. So doing that will really help people connect with your brand. Always look for ways to relate to your users to build a community as well. Okay, we're going to look at some more examples of some social content. So this is all UGC that we've had on some of our communities. The far left, this is actually a resident who lives at the community that I used to work in Murfreesboro, and she's what I would call a resident ambassador, absolutely, because she always tags us in content. She always tags her location, and she takes just beautiful pictures of her and her dog. Her dog is the star of that community. So really creating that relationship with your residents where they want to do this is so important. And I think it comes down to that. And then also reposting as well. At the Emerson, you see somebody took a cute little picture of their bedroom. This is great too, because you'll actually be able to see, instead of a vacant unit, a furnished unit, which is awesome. People are visual. They want to see more stuff like that. And then we have people who just moved into one of our Knoxville communities. She posted and tagged all the time. Those people that are doing that, they want to be noticed. So notice them, say thank you, repost their content, and they will keep doing it. And then the one on the far right at South Haven at Commonwealth, this is actually a fitness influencer on Instagram. She has, I think, over 12,000 followers, and she posted this. She moved into this community, posted it. They reposted it saying, how great does our shiplap walls look like in the background, which is awesome. It gives you content. It's less for you to do. You don't have to create content because people are doing it for you. So pretty cool examples. It's free advertising as well. We all love that. It's going to help our budgeting, which is great. And then use your UGC to inspire more UGC for you as well. Okay, the next example I'm going to show y'all. This is a photo scavenger hunt that was taking place at Gazebo Apartments. It's our Nashville community. So they did this in the height of the pandemic, which nobody was going outside. Nobody was able to see anybody face to face. We couldn't have any resident events. So this is a fun way to get your residents involved. Also, I believe National Scavenger Hunt Day is coming up, so it'll be a fun day to do it. But right here are a few examples. They had a scavenger hunt, and if people did all of it, they won some kind of prize. So there was a favorite patio, orange patio furniture, your most relaxing place at Gazebo. So not only does this get your residents involved and having fun, but it highlights your community, gives you free photos, and it's just super cute and fun. They're tagging you, you're getting more engagement, you're getting more reach. So good stuff all around. So a few ways to generate UGC along with these are the resident ambassador programs. Ask them. I've learned over time, I don't like asking for things, but somebody told me if you never ask, the answer is always no. And I was like, you're so right. That is so true. So ask. I know it's a little uncomfortable at first, but you'll get better with it. And then repost and tag and thank them. That's such an easy thing to do, to message them or get them a little $5 Starbucks gift card. Thanks so much for this, for posting for us. Doing social contests like the scavenger hunt, creating relationships with local businesses, and then make sure everybody knows to tag you and your location, all that good stuff. Okay, so the next slide. I wanted to show, we always talk about TikTok being this relatable platform where big brands can go and you feel like you're friends with these big brands. So I wanted to put a few examples of this in here that I saw that were either funny or relatable. So we're going to watch some of these from a few big brands and talk about them. So those guys are so funny. I follow them. If you don't, you should. They're actually a real estate group, and I don't remember what state they're in, but they do just funny, entertaining videos all the time. And this is relatable as well because you see the Selling Sunset and those type of shows nowadays, and really we're just freezing in the cold with our bubble jackets on. So I just thought that was really funny. So we'll go on to the next one. I laugh every time I see stuff like this. This is Chipotle. So if you know the brand Chipotle, they actually have a great social media presence as well. This is actually UGC that they reposted. So it's kind of like a little Zoom hack, especially during the pandemic. We were all doing that. We've seen people put wine in their coffee cups, or people ask to turn their camera on and they're like completely, it's unexpected. So it's just a bit of funny content for you. So we will go on to the next one. This is my favorite. So this is Delta Airlines. They did this for International Women's Day, and it just shows that women can do all the jobs as well. I love that. That was actually one of the trends going around at the time that they posted that too. So just a lot of fun, and it shows the brands can be down to earth and relatable. I think we have one more. That one was Duolingo, the app that helps you learn different languages. They have this big owl that they put in a lot of their TikToks. The social media manager actually bought that, and they went completely viral off of it. So just a funny idea that's really helped them boost their marketing, and it's also hilarious as well. All right, so takeaways from this.
One more. Do you want to do the last one?
Yeah, let's go do the last one. That is also an airline, Ryanair. They're a viral TikTok platform as well, just because they post really funny, down-to-earth content. that's relatable as well, because what do we know about airplanes except not to open the windows while we're on them? So some takeaways: don't try to impress people, just be yourself. Have fun as well. Users who use TikTok mostly want to be entertained. So don't interrupt the scrolling by trying to be too over salesy. Just supplement the good time that they're already having. And then being relatable is super important as well. Okay, and then some content creating tips on our next slide that have helped me. The first one, here we go. Batch your content. So on site, it can get super busy. You have 10,000 things to do at one time. You're not thinking about shooting social media content. Batching it is very important. So this means if you're out walking the community, taking little video snippets, taking photos while you're out, you can recycle it in the future, mix up the clips, put it with different audio, and you have a completely new video. So do it while you have the time or while you're doing something else. Kill two birds with one stone. I know in the apartment industry, we really do have to learn to multitask and do several things at once to get things done. So try it with that. Getting the entire team involved. So get your maintenance teams involved. We did one and I was running around getting our landscapers involved as well. They love it. They act like they don't, but they love it. And then they send it to their wives and their cousins and their family, like, look what I did today. So it's just fun. It's a great way to boost morale on your team too. Jump on trends and spin it to fit your niche. So look for the trends that are happening, the trending audio, spin it around, fit it with the apartment industry or whatever you do on site. And then cross-posting. So make sure you remove any watermarks. TikTok and Instagram are competitors. So if there's a TikTok watermark on your video that you're posting to Instagram, Instagram's not going to push it out to a wider audience. So they just don't want to promote TikTok. So there are websites that you can do that on. For TikTok, it's Snaptic. For Instagram Reels, it's iGram. You can Google those too. So make sure you remove any watermarks before reposting. Hosting contests, we talk about that. Practice makes perfect. It can be really uncomfortable at first, but I promise you'll get more comfortable with it and it'll start being more fun for you. And then last, love on your people. When people love where they live, when they love the people that work where they live, when they love who they work for, they want to promote you more and they want to help you. So really loving on your people is going to be the main takeaway from this.
All those videos are so fun. I don't know if anybody else, it takes a lot of courage, I think, to do that. So I think it's really getting the team sort of comfortable with it. Have you had do you feel like you've had to like coach them to feel good about getting in front of the camera like that?
So my team, no. I feel like the maintenance team especially, they were like, Miss Mary, what do you want me to do? And I'll just do it, because we just had a really close relationship, all of us, and they just were just the sweetest. On the corporate level, yes. But honestly, I think, you have to have the platform and scroll through it and see other brands doing this to finally be like, okay, I get it. I can be myself and still be professional. We can have fun and still get where we need to be.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone else on the call loved the idea of that scavenger hunt, because it looks like they had, that's them posting that to their own Instagram. So people are seeing that tag, where you're at, and then just seeing the community through your residents' eyes, which I think is so cool.
Absolutely, yes.
So we're kind of wrapping up. So if anyone is on the webinar today and you have some questions, please use that questions box and I'll make sure we get any questions that you have. I know especially like cross-posting from TikTok to Reels and stuff like that. I know that's kind of confusing. If anyone on the call has questions about that, I know Mary can answer those for you. So use that questions box if you have any questions. We want to hear from you. Okay, so key takeaways. I think our panelists today, incredible examples for everyone to see, how that user-generated content can be used authentically and how we can do it in real life. I think a lot of times we think about it sort of theoretically, and we haven't seen real examples in the apartment industry. And I think that that's a really cool way to see, how are other companies doing this and how can I do things similar? So use your micro influencers. We always think about, we have to find like a celebrity or, it has to be someone super influential, but you forget that those influencers are living at your community. So tap into them. I think our panelists did a really great job of showcasing how you can do that today. But increase, when you're featuring those residents on social, it does increase that brand loyalty. And also, like I said before, when we talk about sense of community at our properties, which is the #1 driver of value, this can really impact that. And really, this is the new way to make people feel like you care about them. Give them all the feels, right? This is a good way to do it. And as our panelists said, be real, start small. You don't have to have, a huge content calendar that you're rolling out and you have all this stuff ready to go. Just start small and see how it goes. Just take it day by day, continue to post, things like that. Don't get discouraged, as Mary was saying. If a couple of them don't get a lot of views, it's okay. You're still building sort of that authentic lifestyle brand. You're still, people, if they find one that's viral, they may go to your profile and check out the other ones too. So it's not for nothing. So make sure that you are still building that. Showcase as much as you can. But I think Mary said it really well. I think we need to remember that just like Facebook and all of those things, Facebook we didn't even talk about today, which is funny, but all of those platforms, people don't want to be sold. So before, especially when Facebook first started and we start utilizing it in marketing, I think a lot of people they kept putting their specials out there or showcasing their floor plan images and things like that. And that is not what social is for, right? People want to engage with your content. So putting an image of a floor plan out there for people to see is not showcasing your experience. It's not showcasing anything that people can engage with or feel a connection to. So remember, anytime you can add those people that currently live there, do that. Showcase the lifestyle. Don't try to sell so much. Showcase who you are as a brand. What do we represent? How can we showcase that online and through these tools? So those are really the ways to kind of look at it differently. It's not that traditional marketing that we're used to. Things are changing, and this is the way to really grab that attention and engagement and improve the resident experience as sort of a side item, right? It's not even what your general intent is, but you end up having that amazing connection with your residents this way. Okay, well, I want to say such a heartfelt thank you to Mary and Dana. You both were amazing, so thank you, ladies.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We loved having you, and I cannot wait. I know, all of our site teams are kind of thinking, how can I get involved with this? How can I start using this social sort of proof at my community? So you guys gave really great, relatable examples to us to help us sort of move forward and start using the platforms too. So now don't forget, we're giving away that $50 Starbucks gift card after the webinar today. So in just a little bit, we're going to post that rating for the webinar. When you see that post, if you can like it on either Facebook at Satisfax or at Satisfax Education on Instagram, if you can like it and then comment what your favorite UGC tip was from today. We'd love to hear what you thought can be used at your community or what you're excited about doing for your residents. So it closes later tonight, but please get out there, tell us what you thought, and use that exit survey too. We want to just say thank you again for joining us. Our next Power Panels is on June 16th, same time, same place. And this one is a bit different. We're doing an Ask Us Anything. So myself and Leah Nicole Smith are going to be on, and we're going to be talking all things online reputation. And if you join us, you get to ask us anything, and we'll answer all of your questions and everything that relates to online reputation, because as our panelists talked about today, all of that stuff is so important. So we'll talk all things online reputation next month, and we can't wait to see you in the same place. So thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.